Imagine two people with identical habits, identical discipline, and identical market returns, yet one experiences investing as a constant uphill struggle, while the other feels a subtle but persistent shift in how money behaves around them, not because they became smarter overnight, but because they crossed a quiet numerical threshold that changes the math, the psychology, and the margin for error at the same time. This is why $100,000 is not just a round number or a motivational milestone, but a structural turning point in how the financial system interacts with an individual investor. Below that level, most investing effort is dominated by contribution rather than growth. The primary driver of progress is earned income being converted into assets, which means every market fluctuation feels personal, every drawdown feels threatening, and every decision carries emotional weight because the portfolio is still fragile relative to daily life. At this stage, volatility feels like danger rather than noise, and patience is harder to maintain because progress is slow enough to be felt but not fast enough to be trusted. The investor is doing the right things, but the system has not yet begun to assist them. Once the portfolio approaches $100,000, something subtle changes. Market returns begin to compete with, and sometimes exceed, new contributions, which alters perception even if behavior remains the same. Gains no longer feel hypothetical, and losses no longer feel like total resets. This is not because risk disappears, but because the portfolio develops thickness, a buffer that absorbs randomness without immediately threatening the entire structure. The investor has not escaped uncertainty, but they have crossed into a zone where time starts doing more of the work. Psychologically, this threshold matters because humans respond differently when progress feels self-sustaining. Below it, motivation relies heavily on discipline and delayed gratification, while above it, reinforcement begins to appear in visible ways. Small percentage changes translate into noticeable dollar amounts, which makes abstract concepts like compounding feel real rather than theoretical. This feedback loop strengthens consistency, not because the investor becomes more rational, but because the environment becomes less punishing for normal human behavior. The math behind this shift is straightforward, but often misunderstood. A modest annual return on a small base produces results that are easy to dismiss, while the same return on a six-figure base produces outcomes that command attention. The return rate did not change, the strategy did not change, and the investor did not suddenly unlock a secret, yet the experience feels fundamentally different because the scale has crossed a threshold where exponential effects become visible. This is why early investing feels unrewarding even when it is working exactly as intended. At this level, mistakes still matter, but they are less likely to be fatal. Poor timing, emotional decisions, or short-term panic may slow progress, but they are less likely to erase years of effort. This reduction in fragility is one of the most important but least discussed benefits of reaching a six-figure portfolio. The system becomes more forgiving, not generous, but resilient enough to tolerate imperfection, which aligns better with real human behavior. From a systemic perspective, this is also where optionality begins to emerge. A portfolio of this size creates flexibility in how risk is allocated, how time horizons are structured, and how life decisions interact with money. It becomes easier to think in decades rather than quarters, not because discipline improves, but because the cost of patience declines. The investor is no longer forced to react to every signal, headline, or market narrative, because survival no longer depends on constant optimization. Historically, this pattern appears repeatedly across different market environments. Whether in periods of high inflation, low growth, or rapid expansion, investors who crossed a meaningful capital threshold experienced markets differently than those still accumulating their base. The advantage was not superior foresight, but structural positioning. Capital, once large enough, begins to influence outcomes simply by existing within the system long enough. This is also where identity quietly shifts. Below $100,000, Many people think of themselves as savers who invest. Above it, they begin to see themselves as investors who save. This distinction matters because it changes how decisions are framed. The focus moves from accumulation alone to preservation, optimization, and long-term alignment. Risk is evaluated in terms of drawdowns and recovery time, rather than fear and excitement, which leads to calmer, more consistent behavior over full market cycles. Importantly, this threshold does not guarantee success, nor does it eliminate risk. It does not protect against poor decisions, excessive confidence, or structural market changes. What it does is alter the balance between effort and outcome, making it more likely that disciplined behavior produces visible results. It's a shift from fighting gravity to working with it, where progress feels less like resistance and more like momentum. Understanding this helps explain why many investors quit too early, not because the strategy failed, but because the system had not yet reached the point where it could support them. The early phase is inherently unrewarding, psychologically demanding, and mathematically slow, which makes it vulnerable to doubt and distraction. Those who persist long enough to cross this threshold often describe it not as a moment of wealth, but a moment of clarity, where the process finally makes sense. In the end, $100,000 is not magic, but it is meaningful. It represents the point where compounding becomes observable, where volatility becomes manageable, and where patience becomes easier to maintain. It is not a finish line, but a transition from pushing alone to being quietly assisted by time, structure, and scale. If there is a lesson here, it is not about speed or shortcuts, but about understanding where the system begins to work differently and why staying long enough to reach that point changes everything.